We're here at ToyFair with the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, the ultimate sign of power. What you see is what you get, and what you don't see is even better yet. I am, of course, here with the master of the universe, Todd McFarlane himself. Todd, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing today, Robert? Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for having me. So, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So I had a chance to look at the booth, and you got some exciting stuff going on. The first thing I want to talk about was your Blizzard items. I know that's a new license for you guys.
Yep.
How excited are you to be able to do some cool new designs and some cool video game characters?
Yeah, the video game area is interesting to me because you know the new generation. My kids grew up playing video games, right? I didn't, but my kids grew up. So. And it's just gotten sort of bigger. That space has gotten bigger and more massive, especially the big AAA brands that come out on a steady basis. So whenever you can get your hooks into some of the top tier of anything, I don't care whether it's music or TV or movies or comic books or video game, like if you can get your hands on some of the top tier stuff, it's always good for business. So we did our deal with Blizzard, right, under the big giant banner of Activision, and so coming out of the gate with the World of Warcraft and Diablo, that have both of those have had
massive success
for a long time, right? I mean, again, when you're looking at brands, you're going, okay, which ones have not only had success but have had success over a fairly decent amount of time. So that means because longevity is a value in and of itself, right? So you don't have to always be timely with everything that you have coming on, but those are, I know that a lot of my younger employees were always bugging me about Diablo, because they all played it, right? And I was way more familiar with World of Warcraft. So we're gonna try it, see how it goes. And then we've got a couple other things up our sleeves with the brand and with Activision that we'll be announcing here in the future.
Sounds awesome. Are those what draw you to go after a license like that? Is it the popularity? Is it a bit of both?
It is a bit of both. For me, there's two things that I look at, and internally we have these big conversations. One, what's meaningful and what's successful, because if people know it, then you have a chance to maybe do something in the ancillary product and sell it. The other one is, just because it's popular doesn't necessarily mean that it looks good, right? And so sometimes you can sell product just on the visual of it. It doesn't have to be the biggest, most sort of important brand, but if it passes the eye test, because remember, you're in an aisle, the toy aisle, right? And your figure it's not hidden by cardboard, it's not boxed up. I mean, for the most part, the action figures, you see it. Right. What you see is what you get, literally. If you don't like it, what you see, you walk by, you walk by, or you look at the next page of something else. So to me, I've done both. I've done stuff that's popular that to me visually looks okay, and then I've done other stuff that looks really wicked, but it's not a big brand. And then every now and then you actually get a little bit of the sweet spot where you can cross and you get a little bit of both. You get a good brand and the look of it is there. I think both Diablo and World of Warcraft, they look good. They pass the eye test.
Right.
And they're quality brands that have had success. So I'm like, oh, good. They check both sides of the box. And, fingers crossed, you put out your wave, and then if it works, then you make more. This is the question that people have asked me nonstop for 30 years. I've been doing toy. Oh my gosh, I really like that. Are you going to do more? And the answer is the same with every brand that we do. If this one sells, then yes, we'll make more, right? If it doesn't sell, it's not, even if I want to make more, the people who we sell it to, right? If you're selling it to certain stores or internet .com company, if they don't sell it, you can't come back and say, hey, I got the next series of that thing that didn't sell, right?
Right,
so
you're a business.
Everybody is, right? And so again, I mean, we all like the art, we like to chase it, but there's this other conversation that's had away from all the fandom of like, if it works, if you put it out and they buy it and it sells and it goes off their shelf, then they want to restock the shelves, and they'll be asking me. Look, I never get a call from any retailer ever in 30 years saying, "Oh my God, Todd, we bought the exact right amount of your product for this line." I only get 2 phone calls. One is, "It's not selling, how are you going to help me move it?" Or, "Oh my gosh, it sold out, can I get more?" Those are the only 2 phone calls I ever get, right? So you're hoping, and we'll hope for that with all of our Blizzard, just like everything else we do, that you put it out there and I get that second phone call. "Oh my gosh, it worked, Todd. Which can I get more?" "Well, we sold out of the first one, but we got a second series coming." And then they'll buy the second series, and then the third and the fourth, and you keep going as long as it keeps working.
Awesome. On that front, are you guys planning to do NFTs? Is that something you're considering with Blizzard, or is that not at this time?
I don't know where that is. I mean, I know we're having these conversations with as many people as we can. I don't know, in all honesty, it's a good question. I don't know what their reaction has been to it. Some people are lukewarm to it, some people are a hard no, and other people are very curious, and some are like, "Yeah, cool," right? So, in all honesty, I'd have to go ask a couple of the people that are having those meetings right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I know, the community, quote unquote community, there seems to be a divide on NFTs.
I don't care.
I know you're making a strong push for it.
No, I'm not making a strong push. What I'm saying is, it's art. It's all art. Mm-hmm. So I don't expect anybody to consume all different forms of art. But just because you don't like one form of art doesn't make it bad, doesn't make it not good, and doesn't mean that it shouldn't exist. Just don't buy it. Just don't buy it then. But that somebody else does like it, they can go and buy it, right? This is why video games are so popular, because somebody in an island someplace can hit a button as long as they've got the internet, and they can download a game if they've got the system, and they can play it. Here's the downside of living on that same island if you want to buy a toy of somebody's product. It costs $25 and it's available, there's the internet, $25, but the shipping is $120. So now you're buying a $25, and that's not a joke what I just said.
No.
So you buy a $25 toy, and then you got to pay $125 to ship it, and so you're going, man, that's like $150 for what everybody else is getting for $25. I'm only going to be able to collect a couple. Oh, well, what if we make it digital for you, right? Oh, so I don't have to pay shipping? No. Now, again, I understand you don't have the physical item, but at least you still get to collect, right? You're still collecting. Because the other option is, if you can't afford $150 every time, then you just don't collect. So why, it's weird to me that there's now a way to get them to be able to collect because they don't have to pay for that shipping, and people will get weird about it. Like, then don't buy it. But that person, that's an advantage to them. I'll give you the other option. You are in a big city. You are in a place where shipping is okay. You are there. But if you live in a place like Tokyo, and your apartment, because they've got overcrowding in some places, and your apartment is 400 square feet,
you're not going to have a lot of room.
You don't have the luxury of collecting boxes this big, because once you get 4 of them, that's about the size of your fridge, right? So they can't do it either. So there's now these 2 extremes, and there's a lot in between, but I just gave you 2. And so they can collect, but it has to be in digital form again, right? So I get it. I have this conversation with people all the time, and it's usually older people, right? They're like, I don't get it. You're not holding anything, whatever else. Who cares? Who cares? They're collecting and they're having a good time. Oh, by the way, for all you old people that don't like it, going, I don't understand it. That you don't have anything. It's not tangible. There's no value. I go, what are you talking about? What they're doing right now, you already do. You don't even know it. This is the oddness of this conversation that I have. Old people, right? Click your phone on right now and go to your gallery. You know what those are? Digital photos.
Yep.
Now you got a picture of your grandkid on there. And when you look at that picture of your grandkid, what does it do? It puts a smile on your face. Your grandkid isn't here. You're not holding your grandkid physically. You're not touching them, but you've got something that brings you some kind of joy for a moment by looking at it. Why can't that be the same for them that are collecting a digital piece of artwork? The answer is, it is the same. We just get in these odd conversations with people that are not, they're just so tunnel vision about what their personal wants and needs. So I'm not here to advocate for NFTs any more than I advocate for TV or video games or comic books or toys. I'm saying it's all art, and I am in the art business. And I put art in as many places as I can, and then I let the consumer choose. So if you don't like it, don't do it. If you don't like TV, don't turn on the TV. But it shouldn't be. You shouldn't begrudge people for making TV shows. It's just art. Let me make up my art and get out of the way, because somebody behind you may actually enjoy what we're doing. No big deal.
Well, thank you for clarifying that.
For me, that's me. Somebody else may have a whole nother conversation.
Well, no, I mean, that's okay. I just, I know it's a new thing, and I know people getting their vibes.
Don't buy it.
I agree.
My answer to every critic in my entire life for 40 years, I've been doing art for 40 years, is the exact same answer. If they're in front of me, I tap them gently on the shoulder and say the exact same thing. Then spend your time and your money on things you personally enjoy. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. You can fix this. If you don't like NFTs, don't buy any. Problem solved. If you don't like broccoli, don't put it in your cart when you're at the grocery. Problem solved, right? Like, you walk by thousands of items in stores every day of your life that you don't want to consume, whether it's at the grocery store or it's at a big box retailer. Mm-hmm. It's the same. You're getting caught up in the format. Stop it. Put what you like and bring it home, and spend your time and money on things you enjoy and bring it home. And the rest of it, just walk away from it. Why you got to have a conversation about it, right? I don't like Brussels sprouts. I'm a big fan of them. Okay. Here's what I've never done. I've never gone to the manager at any grocery store and asked them, why the hell do you have it? Because I don't like it. And I've never gone to BrusselsSprouts.com and complained. I just don't buy fucking Brussels sprouts. This is the same for every product in the planet. Just walk away from it. I don't care why you like it, or I don't care why you dislike it. Either consume it or not. Done. Anyway, next question.
Your sports line's back up and running again. How excited was it to launch that back up again?
It's good because enough time has gone by that there's now a whole new crop of top tier athletes, right? And so when we were doing it, it seemed like, in some of the sports, football being the one, where it seemed like we were going back to the same 3, 4, 5 guys, right? It seemed like every year, Brett Favre and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and a couple others. And it was over and over and over. And now you fast forward, and there's a whole new crop of new quarterbacks, new running backs, new wide receivers, new defensive guys that are now sort of the belle of the ball. And so it's like, oh man, right? Like it's kind of refreshing to be able to do the thing that you can do a good job at, but you're not necessarily repeating the exact same trick. So hopefully I'm hoping, fingers crossed, should be able to do what happened the first go round we did it, which is introduce ourselves to some new collectors who are younger, because Patrick Mahomes is more important to them than Drew Brees was, or Aaron Rodgers was, or somebody else from 15 years ago. So.
They look nice. They came out really good. I saw them in the booth, and
they're out there. Yeah, the other thing we're doing is that we're giving them like a big base, and then so you got their name, you've got a big base they stand on, you've got a physical sort of coin, if you will, that has the logo on it, and then the packaging, the back of the packaging that's in the blister, you take that out and that becomes the slot back there. Essentially, other than the clamshell, everything else you keep, right? We're trying to do this with more of our toys. We're trying to use the packaging as part of the display, has backdrops and has dioramas and things like that. So the presentation of the sports are pretty sophisticated compared to what we were doing before, where it just had a base and the figure.
I also saw out there, or actually before I go to that, do you have the full spectrum of license rights for the NFL?
We're coming back in entering with the NFL and the NHL.
Yes, I saw that.
And we're in talks with the other two, the NBA and Major League Baseball. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to come back and make official announcements on those.
That will be very exciting.
Yeah.
To move on from sports, you also have your second wave. Is it the second wave of Dune for the second movie?
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So
those came out really nice.
Yeah, the Dune figures, if you've seen them, a couple of things. One, the likenesses I thought came out really nice. The paint jobs on the body and the armors came out really cool. And then for the single packs, the 7-inch and the single pack, if you go and take a look at it, each one of them comes with cloth, which is some people like, but even more importantly, all the cloth is lined with thin wire, so you can bend it. Like if you go and look at it, it looks like the wind is blowing it, which is sort of typically what you would do if you did it in plastic, but you only get the one pose. But now you can actually sort of do it, and that wire is thin enough so it doesn't look bulky, and it's strong enough that it actually will hold it. So if you want the tail of their cape to be like looking like there's a strong wind, you can do that, right? So if you go out there and play with it a little bit, you can actually go and bend it yourself and see how it looks. And even the Christopher Walken character, he's got like long cuffs. Even those are all wired. So you can either make it so that they're open up, they're blowing to the side, or you can make it nice and tight and wiggle it or something like that. So,
is that the first time you've experimented with soft goods with wire in them?
No, we've done it before, but wire's tricky.
Yes.
Because if you get too thin, you can either it breaks, it gets brittle, or it doesn't, or it doesn't hold the weight of the cloth. And then to hold the weight of the cloth, sometimes you have to go to a thicker wire. But then it kind of looks bulky and it doesn't look good. So I'm hoping that we don't get brittleness on it because this is thin and strong and it holds it really well, right? So this is the best iteration by far that we've been able to sort of engineer. So hopefully if it holds up, then there's lots and lots of applications for it, especially on the superhero end, right? So.
Yes. Speaking of superheroes, the superpowers. Superpowers seems to be doing really, really well.
Yeah. No, it came out of the gate gangbusters, and then once you sort of get past your core, then you sort of have to continue to refresh, right? So, but I would say that's true for arguably any line that we've ever done, right? You come out and you, at times, almost try not to put out the top characters all the time right out of the gate, because you may need to go back and do 2 or 3 more lines, and you don't want to basically just do the A guys and then you got to go to B and you got to go to C. This is what we end up doing with the sports. I used to have literally 3 lists up on the board, what I call A, B, and C. And every series I take 2 from the A, 2 from the B, and 2 from the C, and that was our series line. And then the next wave, 2 from the A, 2 from the B, and what it did is it allowed us to extend the amount of A players. Because if you burn through the A players in your first 2 rounds, then you got to go to the B players, and then sales go down, and then the retailers go, it's not really working, and then all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes comes along, and they don't care, because all they're looking at is data that says the last one didn't sell. Let me tell you something about the toy business. your line of toys, for the most part, is only as good as the previous sales of the previous one. They don't care how good the next one is. Even if you say, no, Series 3 was a little bit soft, but I'm telling you, we're coming out, Series 4 is killer. They don't care. They just look at Series 3 and say it didn't sell. Why should Series 4 sell any better? Unless they're fans of that brand particularly and they understand your character selection, right? Or your player selection, they just go, no, it didn't sell. I don't care. This is not going to sell either. So you're sometimes at the mercy of data, which is why you have to sometimes hold back a little bit and spread it out instead of trying to get big sales to start with and then finding out you don't have something you can follow it up with.
We got a few minutes left,
Yep.
so I'll touch on these two really quick for you to give you back your day. DC Multiverse is expanding and growing.
Yep.
We got like regular Multiverse, we got Platinum, we got specialties. Are you overall happy with the way the brand has been working for you?
Yeah, well, what I'm happy about is that when we signed the DC Multiverse, essentially they opened up the vault from 1936, which was Action Comics #1, to today. Not only exclusively just in comic book reference and material, but movies, TV shows, video games, and we were able to then, I mean, look at, there's so much in the DC Multiverse vault, right? I could do it for 20 years, die, and still only
Not
get,
touch everything.
yeah, like what are you talking about? There's no shortage of material coming out of the DC Warner Brothers corner, for sure.
I agree. Those Batman and Robin figures are beautiful.
Yeah,
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
That Poison Ivy is simply stunning.
Yeah, no, the paint job on Poison Ivy came out nice. The likeness of the characters came out good. Like, it's interesting. Like, if you go to the George Clooney
He
Batman,
looks like George Clooney in the Batman costume.
yeah, so, like, it's weird. We got an overhead light. Doesn't quite look like George, right?
you look
but
at
but,
it-
but if you tilt it and you get the light directly on it, then you go, man, that's a good sculpt,
That's-
right?
yeah.
So it's weird what light does to a head that's a half an inch big. But in the Batgirl one, because it's a build-a-figure too. And
Right.
if you buy all four, you buy Batgirl, Poison Ivy, Robin, and Batman from the Batman and Robin movie, that you get to build Mr. Freeze, right? And if you go look at the Batgirl one, that head of
Right,
Arnold
that came out
Schwarzenegger,
really
like,
good.
no, I'm
Really
going.
good.
You every now and then you get a head that looks like a miniature version of the real person staring at you, and you get spoiled, and you wish it would happen for every toy. This is the anxiety of to making toys. It's a very inexact science, but that Mr. Freeze, once you build him, he's going to look cool. Why? Because it looks like Arnold, right? Just like the other ones. So
I agree. Final thing, just to wrap me up. 2 new Spawn figures. I believe they're starting to ship now, actually.
yeah.
How excited are you to continue to bring more Spawn figures into collectors' hands?
So we're going to continue to bring in some of the characters that are part of the universe. We're going to go back to doing what we did originally when I started this company, which is just come up with crazy ideas and do a Spawn paint job on it, right? Because we had Ninja Spawn, Dark Ages Spawn, Cyber Spawn. We just made up crazy cool stuff. So we're going to be doing some of that too. And again, I know I keep talking about it, but there was a 3-year pandemic and then a writer's strike, so that almost gobbled up 4 years. But next year there's going to be we will have announced the news of the movie, right?
Right.
That's a promise, right? One way or the other, news is coming out on the movie because we're going to go in and sell it here. Once all the strikes get settled, we're gonna go in and sell it one way or the other. I mean, we're gonna go a little bit bigger budget, or I'll not make the deal and just go back to making a small budget one. I've got 20 people waiting in the wings to help me with that one. So there's gonna be news that will continue to push the brand bigger and bigger. Last week, actually this week, Spawn came out in the Call of Duty Battle Pack Season 6 for Call of Duty, right? So
Right,
that's gonna now introduce that character and that brand to millions of new eyeballs across the globe that otherwise have never heard of the word spawn, right? So,
Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate
All right.
it. And we'll talk again soon.
all right,
You have a good rest of your convention.
you too.
Thank you.